Coming up next, from San Fran Freak Show, The Savage Nation, from Talk 910 KNEW.
With Michael Savage, I can relate to him.
The Savage Nation. Afternoons 3 to 7. Talk 910 KNEW.
Warning. The Michael Savage Show contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation. Here is Michael Savage.
The motorcade now is moving in motion. You can see there with your own eyes.
Just a few minutes from now, we do expect that the family will be arriving and the world will witness the memorial service for Michael Jackson.
You'll see the motorcade just starting to get underway.
I'm assuming that one of the vehicles you're looking at, this hearse, is carrying the casket of Michael Jackson.
As we look at the hearse leaving the scene, the casket is in the hearse.
The hearse, that is looks like to be the fourth car in the motorcade.
And we're watching as that hearse pulls away.
We've been able to confirm that the casket will be at the Staples Center. Wow. And I say casket because it is not clear if Michael Jackson's remains will actually be in there. So we have to be careful.
One of America's greatest heroes. Greater than George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln put together. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that a dancer with one white glove would top the founding fathers? Who would have thought? And now you wonder why America has fallen to this level. You have no idea why America's fallen to this level. Well, my friends, it's because of the solenterates in the media. What I want to do today is cover some American music that's great rather than the garbage that Michael Jackson produced for children, really. I mean, children liked him. I don't know of any adult who ever listened to him. He was histrionic, danced around on the stage. I have no idea where the worship comes from. I had enough of it. I said the same thing about the Ronald Reagan Memorial. I said the same thing about the President Ford Memorial that went on for weeks. I feel as though I'm living in a nightmare. But this has gotten worse. And to think who's given the eulogy, Al Sharpton, the man who brought us deaths at Freddy's Fashion Mart, the man who invented the fact that there was, in fact, no attack upon Tawana Brawley, who smeared herself with feces and said that a detective smeared her with feces and it was white racism. He's giving the eulogy, quite fitting, actually. Now, if you think this is a racist rant, that's because your mind is perverted and distorted. Because I'm going to play the music of some black composers and musicians who are actually great. Let's, for example, begin with John Coltrane with Giant Steps. He has great music. Not from Michael Jackson, by the way. And this is something that Sharp Tongue or the others wouldn't even understand. All right, now here's another piece of great music by a great American, African-American at that. Duke Ellington, Take the A Train. Listen to this one. Everyone knows this. No eulogies for Ellington when he died. You can feel the train rocking. If you've ever ridden the A train, you can feel it rocking. That's great music. Now, of course, here's another African-American. I'm sure he would turn over in his grave if anyone referred to him as an African-American back in the time, 1967. Here's Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower. You want to hear great music? Listen to it. How's that? No memorials for Jimmy.
Too much confusion. I can't get no relief.
I guess we can add this to the Cesar Chavez Day next. It'll be Michael Jackson Day. A day that everyone in America must don a white glove or be arrested by the new federal police. How about a woman, a fabulous country and western singer, also authentic American music, Tammy Wynette, Stand By Your Man. How about this? I guarantee you this is fairly well known amongst people who are over the age of 9. All right, country and western. Now, how about some real American music along the lines of what we just heard from a different sort of composer? We heard George Gershwin's American in Paris. How about Fanfare the Common Man by Aaron Copland? Hear of him lately? No, that's so beyond the Al Sharpton crowd. We wouldn't even expect. Break that record. Break that record. That would cause riots, I'm sure. How about Gershwin's American in Paris with the sound of taxi cabs when he hit Paris? Isn't that kind of interesting and quaint? Quaint music. George Gershwin, never heard of him. Didn't wear one white glove. So far as we know, he didn't molest young boys. But then again, hey, it was a different time. He was a man who composed for the greatest generation. You might say that Michael Jackson entertained for America's worst generation. You might say that, of course. You wouldn't want to be heard saying it, but you could say it. All right, let's let it go. I made my point. Now I'm going to tell you a story, and it's going to relate to this in a way. Last night, I was getting ready for bed around midnight, and I got a call from the police saying that a wild fox had been hit by a car running across the road, and it wandered onto my property, and it was injured, and they were going to send animal control over. So I said, all right, wait 20, 30 minutes. Police show up, animal control, they go around the property with a flashlight. I come out. You know, there are a lot of these animals are rabid. And I see this poor little thin baby fox about the size of my poodle, scared to death in a cage. They had found it. And I asked the animal control officer about it. She said, well, his hind legs don't work anymore. And we're going to take it in and we're going to look at it, but we're probably going to euthanize it. I mean, it looked like a pet, you know, gorgeous animal, big eyes, elegant creature. I said, well, why do you have to euthanize it? She said, well, because most wild foxes are rabid around here. I didn't say anything because it's really not my call. It's their call. And I went back to my house, and I listened to the mother fox crying all night. She was barking and crying for her cub, crying for her baby that had been taken away in the van by the animal control officer. I heard the mother calling for hours and hours. Apparently, they both ran across the road, but the baby was not as swift as the mother. The baby got hit on the hind. The mother made it into the bushes. And apparently the baby limped along with broken hips or a broken back and lay there in the bushes till they found it. But I got to tell you something. As that mother cried for her baby cub, something in me understood the call of the wild. And I felt more sympathy for that dead fox. I felt more sympathy for the death of one rabid fox than for the death of Michael Jackson. Play some music, please. It's the Savage Nation.
On the air, online, and on the go. This is Talk 910 KNEW.
Say that joker to the thief. There's too much confusion.
It is the Savage Nation. We're trying to comprehend how far America has fallen and how it's fallen this far. And the answer is the American media. As you well know, perhaps the worst in the world is what we have at ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and a few others. Unfortunately, it is the media driving the mental state of America into the toilet, which is why we have the politicians that we have. Now they're glorifying a musician. A musician, period. I don't know what he's done in recent years, but just he's simply a musician. Why have they turned him into an American hero, an American icon? George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Patton, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Who in the world would think that a musician would be worthy of such attention, other than either the record companies who own his music who are pushing the media. It's probably one and the same. In combination with some other forces. There's got to be some commercial forces behind all of this because this makes no sense to anyone with an IQ above 90. Jerry in New York on WOR. Welcome. You're on the program.
Yeah, Michael, if I can just explain to you a little bit as well as your audience. Hello?
We're listening to you. Go ahead.
All right. The reason why there's such a phenomenon surrounding the death of Michael Jackson is what he transcended. You played Hendrix music and those people of that era. His music started in the 70s, and here was a man, 50 years old, still making hits, selling out a record.
Okay, but Jerry, you're talking about a musician. He's only a musician.